Hello, it's Sean with BladeMate Lawn Care. I often have questions regarding how I edge, the equipment that I use. So I thought I would do a bit of director's commentary for this video. Not really a how-to video, more to show you how I do things and why I do things. You know, I'll kind of talk you through what's going through my mind as you see it on the screen. So, I thought I'd do that this time around. So this yard you see now, it's nothing special. It's one of my regular clients. This one hadn't been done for 3 weeks. It had the extra week between services just because of all that rain we had. Funnily enough, it actually started raining whilst I was on this job, which was a little bit painful. I had to stop, give it about 10 minutes break in between there. This edger I'm using, it's my Stihl KM131. That's the power pack, and I can fit all the attachments to it. I just have my edger blade on it here. You'll notice how I endeavour to keep the wheel on the concrete. It doesn't really matter. Some people, they're adamant that it matters if a wheel is on the concrete, or like they adamant that it can't be anywhere but the concrete. I don't think that's entirely true, especially because you have a look at it, and just because I'm quite tall, the wheel doesn't really sit on the concrete anyway. The difference is if I have it so it's on the grass, it might just make contact with that grass a bit, which could potentially slow me down. So that's why I do try and keep it on that side. But again, that's just all preference. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Like, is the edge being produced? Yes, it is. So who cares really? A question I often have is, what do I think is better when it comes to edging? The whipper snipper or weed eater, whatever you call it, or the edger blade? Well, that's a subjective question. My bottom line opinion is that the blade is better for producing an edge. However, the whipper snipper is more effective at maintaining an edge. So you see this one that I'm doing right here, the overgrown grass here on the footpath, that's actually the neighbour's yard. I just couldn't resist. I just saw that and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to do that. I'm going to make the path look nice. There'd be some, I think it's pretty fun to watch. It's definitely fun to do. Now, just noting this one, obviously I normally mow after edge, so I'm able to clean up any mess that I might make. It's not the case for this side of the yard, noting that it is a neighbour's yard and the grass was recently cut and was cut quite short. So I didn't go that with my mower, so you'll see very shortly that I did have to tidy up after myself. I often have a lot of people in the comments section asking why I don't use a flathead shovel and why you often see me kicking the grass after I've done the edges. Well, here's why I don't use a flathead shovel. I guess you could say I just don't have my technique down pat. Takes me longer. It's less efficient for me. Again, this is me. This is how I work. You might work differently. Good for you. You're not me. I'm not you. I'm just struggling with I don't know, call it finesse, I don't know. I just find it so much easier just to kick the bloody grass off. I don't have to mess around with a shovel. Yeah, so I included this in the video just to kind of highlight that point, especially for a lot of the people when they do say, man, you need to invest in a shovel. It's like, mate, I've owned a shovel since I was bloody 12 years old. It's not about not investing in a shovel, it's not efficient for me. Like, that was painful. Was that painful to watch? Because it was bloody painful to do. Another one I get, why don't I use a rake? Or well, I do have a rake, but it's not very big. And why do I use a broom instead? Like, does it matter? Like, the end state is exactly the same. I'm not really working any harder, you know. People say, oh, it's so much quicker and easier to do it this way. I'm like, is it though? What, I might gain 30 seconds, you know? My time's not that precious to me. So you notice with this green bin sitting here, it's actually everybody in the local council area has one of these, and it's emptied once every 2 weeks. And that's funded by just the local, what we call in Australia, the ratepayers. Basically, it's just an annual tax that landowners pay to the local government. So yeah, you know, funds all that sort of stuff, infrastructure and yeah, utilities and all that sort of stuff around town. So after I do the edges, I usually go around like this just with my whip snipper, because you get just little bits of grass that are kind of just hanging by a thread, and this just finishes them off and, you know, gets rid of any dirt that may have built up as well under that overgrown edge there, and it just makes the whole piece of concrete in the edge really pop and look super neat. So yeah, this is just another step in making it look good and providing that attention to detail. Like I said earlier, because I'm not actually mowing this lawn, this is the neighbour's lawn, yeah, I've got to clean up my mess. So what I end up doing here is just blowing it all straight next door. Only took a couple of minutes, and because that grass was very, very short, it was just so easy. It was like blowing over like a firm carpet, and so nothing really got caught there, and in the end it was a pretty tidy finished product, which you will see very shortly. Now, for some reason, I at this stage put my edger away. Don't know why. I guess I didn't realise that I wasn't completely finished, but that's all right because I quite enjoy doing the edging with my whipper snipper anyway. So you notice I do it in 2 phases. I'll do the actual edge itself, and then I'll quickly lay the trimmer head flat and just give the top of the grass just a little bit of a buzz. Now what that does is basically when the mower is on the edge, it can sometimes, I don't know, it gets too short and you can take a bit of a chunk out of the edge. So this prevents doing that, whilst also, you know, making it look neat as if it had been mowed. So have a look at my left hand there. You can see how I'm grasping the actual shaft itself. Get your mind out of the gutter. What that does, as opposed to holding it by the handle, it gives me much more control over the actual whipper snipper itself. And I found that my edging with the whip snipper has really come a long way since I've been using this technique. Funnily enough, it was recommended to me by somebody in the comments section. They're like, hey, try it this way, which is exactly as you see me doing. And you know what? They're absolutely right. In between all the vitriol and hateful comments that people can't seem to resist leaving down below, every now and then I do get one that's actually quite helpful. And that was one of them. You know, I'm no expert, I don't claim to be. I'm just a guy who likes mowing lawns and pops a camera in front of him and tries to make content that some people would find entertaining. So this part here was actually quite tricky. That tree that you see on the left there, you can't quite see the top of it from that angle. However, it was actually occupying quite a bit of space there, so that's why I had to kind of just readjust my position here to try and get in there. Because I couldn't actually stand that way, and you'll notice here, I actually had to reach over the fence. Because it was the only way I could kind of I could physically fit my whippersnipper down there to produce that edge, because that tree was just in the way. So I was literally leaning over the fence, between the fence and the tree, trying to achieve that edge on this one.
Hello. There you go, mate. Oi. Hey. Hey. Oh. Hello, big boy. Come here.
So this area here, there's some old dog holes that have kind of had the grass grow over it, so a little bit of undulating kind of terrain. I didn't actually get it on camera, however, I did have to kind of take care of them with my whippersnipper just because the mower would kind of roll over the top of them.
Hello Muscles, how are you?